Hello everybody, this is Mr. Onesto, and this is our final video on the basics of digital art. Just getting started. And this one's going to go over coloring. And I'm going to click out of this. This is where we left off. I'm going to get rid of my character and just look at the background on the buildings. Just like anything, whether it's painting or watercolor, I like to do the background first. Now, for those of you who are new to computer art, what I'm showing you is just the very basics. There are actually easier ways of coloring. I'm just going over the basics. In later videos, I'll start breaking down different ways that may end up to be better for you in doing some digital coloring or even drawing. When I'm doing these buildings, and I want to make sure I'm on the right layer, because as I said in previous videos, sometimes I have trouble finding the right layer and I draw on the wrong one. And as you can see, I'm taking just a very dark gray tone and I'm just dropping it in the back buildings. And oh, look at this. I ended up getting two buildings, and I'm going to go to this edit, undo. When it comes to coloring, and especially using a paint bucket, you will find out that if you leave any gaps, the paint will leak. So what you're going to have to do, if you find something that leaks, just find out where and fill it in. There we go. And so when I go back to my color, go back to paint bucket, there. And now, since I'm using Clip Studio, I want you to take a look around the edges. You don't see that white halo. Some of the programs like Pixlr, you'll have to do some additional coloring if you want to get rid of that white halo that happens when you drop paint from the paint bucket. Don't worry, it's normal. Some programs deal with that better than others. Now, I will then just keep choosing colors probably on this grayscale and just drop in. And I want to show you what a finished copy. Since I'm not doing time lapse, at least at the moment, I didn't want to waste your time in watching me do the whole thing. Just kind of go over the basics. And as you can see, everything was solid. I did do some additional drawing. And over here, you can kind of see how I'm starting to do some like lighted windows. Now, do they have to be lighted? No. But I'm going to take my dropper here. If you haven't seen this before, all I have to do is press it. It'll give me the exact same color. And I'm going to use my rectangle tool, but I'm going to fill it in. And just draw another window, and that's how I'll do it. Now, could you do that with other shapes? Absolutely. The more details you put into your background, really the nicer it is. And now, as you can see, the sky is blank, and I want to change that. And I'm going to just go to the purple, and I'm going to go with the paintbrush. I'm going to go with the large paintbrush. I'm going to go larger than that. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that's good. And I want you to see, since I'm on a lower layer, I've created a layer that I can just paint. And by doing that, I can go over my buildings and it won't show up on my buildings. It's just going to go everywhere. I'm going to look to make sure every spot's done, and it's done. I do like to do additional, and in this case, I'm going to make it a little darker, and I'm going to go with the airbrush, brush density. Let's see what we got going. And I can actually create clouds and stuff. Now, you can use a lighter color, and you can actually draw your clouds on. You can take your smudging tools and do a circular motion, and it will create a background, because when I click out of here, you can see what I did. Now, in that case, I did dark purple with some light white purple and a very lavender type color. and I went around, and then I did some stars. I used the special effects portion to create the stars, and then I added a glow of the moon, and that gave me my background. Now I want to do my character. So I'm going to go to my character demo, and just so I don't get confused, I'm going to give it a white background. So I dropped a white background in there. As you can see, I made some mistakes. I had to fill in on my white background because once again, I was drawing on the wrong layer. And I will want to definitely make sure I duplicate this layer, that I have one that's going to go over, because I'm going to color on this one. And usually when I color a character, I like to get up very close. Make sure I color within the lines. I'm going to go with my paintbrush. Let's see, get this color and go back to my paintbrush. Shrink that size down because that brush is going to be too big. Make sure I'm on the right layer. And now it's too small. There we go. That'll work. And now I want you to see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to go over a lot of my black lines and get the squeaking of the screen here. Since my screen is brand new on this artist display, and for those who are wondering, I'm using the artist display from XPen. It's a 22R. Very happy with it. But when they're brand new, the screen squeaks a little bit. So I still need to work it in a little bit. So if my character, let's say I'm going to go to a lighter gray, I'm just going to pop here, and I'm just going to start coloring. Now, could I use my fill-in tool? Yes, I can. And I do a little bit, but mostly with this, I just color. I use the paintbrush and I color because I'm getting ready to use, like, do some airbrushing instead of the paint bucket. Let me show you color. And as you can see, how much I went over the black lines and everything like that. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a sample of this gray, the darker gray. I'm going to go to the air, and I want to make sure I'm on the right level now. Getting the right size you're looking for, it takes a little time, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. And if you want to add some shadow with the airbrush, you can. If I want to do a little, now you need to figure out whether you're going to be happy with the type shadow that's being created. And oh, I like that so much better. So I'm going to go to Edit, Undo, and you can go Control Z. I just want to show you on this, and let's try this again. And as you can see, this is lighter. This is highlight. And if you want to do shadow, let's shrink that up a little bit. Notice that it's darker. Okay. And if I keep going over, what happens? It keeps getting darker and darker. So you want to be careful of that. And when I shrink this back down, and I'll do highlights at another time, and you shrink it back down, get the whole picture. I want to add everything now. I want to eliminate this. Now just take a look at this. When I put the final ink layer back on, bam. I think you can agree that it enhanced the character. Now, this character is going through the city, but you don't see how he's flying through the city. Well, I used my line tool and I made a glowing rope. And all I did with that was I did white, and then I used the opacity, made a thicker line of light blue that kind of gives it the glow effect. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. There will be more to come. I know with digital art, it takes a little longer to do, but always remember, you are not alone. You are loved. And if you're just feeling a little down, make sure you talk to somebody. And there are people who care, okay? I was on the wrong layer again, all right? So don't ever forget that, guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.